I can post it.
Okay.
Moving on to event staff for youth programming, that is our Halloween party, our Christmas party, our Easter egg hunt. We sometimes have the staff from the after school help us with those things. They're really helpful. And that's a minimal cost, that they would just get paid what they get paid for after school. They just, have extra hours for the event. Supplies and materials, that number there is all of the supplies and materials added up for all of our youth programming, summer program, after school, Halloween party, Christmas party, Easter egg hunt. What am I forgetting? There's a lot. I think, basketball. Yeah, that's all. And then food is self-explanatory. Those numbers have gone up from previous years because the cost of everything has gone up. So these numbers I base off of what we actually spend, and what I think is necessary to put these things on. Transportation, that number there, is solely the cost of the bus for summer program. That has increased a lot. But that's very, very close to what that cost is gonna be.
And how many kids do we have? Like, how many slots do we have in the summer program normally?
35 a day.
And then you said 4 counselors,
There's 9 altogether.
total.
but you do 4 a day for.
No, there's
there's always.
Oh, well, the days we travel, there's 9. The days that we're located here, which is Mondays and Fridays, usually.
Okay.
When we travel, it's necessary to have. There's 35 kids, but we split up into groups when we go places. And so we need as many counselors as possible to keep, all hands on deck. And we like to have a fairly small group so that it's as safe as possible.
And who do you use the local bus?
Yeah,
Or
per
other
student. Yep. Field trips, that cost is the cost of admission for field trips. We've been able to keep it the last few years at that amount because we apply for a few different grants for our trips, such as the Connect Kids to Parks grants, and they help us pay for these things. So that number, I think, is not going to need to be increased for the next year, because I think I can keep it under that for the admissions. Entertainment, that is a DJ cost for Halloween parties. T-shirts, trophies, and awards is just what it says. That's for basketball mostly, except we also get t-shirts for summer program. By the way, when I'm done just going over each one, you guys can also ask any question that you want. I want you to feel like you can talk to. I'm just trying to sort of explain to you in a general sense what these are for, because there's a lot of them. Moving on to 37 to 48, that again is not stuff that the Recreation Department submits a budget proposal for. Those are town board things. So the next page that we will be working on is 38 of 48.
So can I just?
Yep.
So your supplies and materials, so you said that went up a little bit. Still,
Yes.
are there things that are you asking for things that you need? Like, because I think everyone here would agree that the rec is an important program. Like, are there things that you want to do that you aren't asking for that we should, even if we don't do it in this budget, that you want us to be considering? Is there additional supplies? Like, would you ask for more, or do you have ideas if you were to ask for more things you would want to do? Holding back things that you want.
No, I mean, I think with these numbers, they're pretty good. My biggest thing right now is the backyard. So we're gonna go over that. That's like, that's something that that's like an extra thing. I feel like that's gonna be a big expense. So for now, that's what I'm really focusing on. But I feel like I asked for in this budget what we need right now. Of course, I can't predict everything, but I think that these will be sufficient.
I would say this budget is very tight. You guys do a very tight budget. If you go through and see,
It's
very
specifically,
detailed.
and you guys can.
The wiggle room, the only wiggle room is the paint classes, because we budgeted for once a month for both programs. And you had expressed that we might not do that
Exactly.
number.
Right.
So there's a
Yeah.
little bit of wiggle room in the supplies and materials to sort of do a different event. We talked about like, was it the pumpkins that you ended up doing?
As a youth paint
Yeah, the
class,
youth
yeah,
paint class. Yeah, just having some slightly different offerings.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share that with you, that that's one place where there's a little bit.
Yeah, and Michael, you can look over this then if you want, or whatever after, I have no problem. for it.
Yeah,
Make
sure, that
copies
got
for you.
emailed.
Yeah,
it's true.
it's not quite as pretty, but
Yeah, I just wanna make sure you guys are asking for what kids, you're not like.
I do feel like we are. Like I said, the
It was
backyard
really
is.
impressive. You're able to do all that you.
Thank you,
And they're also.
thank you. We really love it. And we're grateful that we're able to do it, so thank you for working with us.
And then actually, I just wanna ask in the supplies and materials there.
Yep.
Did you put an ice maker in your budget? I know I looked through it.
I
Is
did
that
not,
in
but
here?
no, it is not.
I would like to increase
amazing.
this.
That would be amazing.
I have an equipment grant for youth programs that I want to apply for some of the equipment.
Would it be, would it be specific to the youth program or would that be a building?
It could be building, but I definitely would need it for summer program. We fill up the cooler every single day.
That's kind of
So-
what sparked the idea.
So I mean,
when
that
was
would be,
here
I think,
trying
up to you guys.
Yeah.
You're buying this.
We
They
do.
need for
do.
every event they have to buy.
Cause we do have funds available now to buy something like that. But I would say my gut would be that that could be a building expense, but that you would be the ones that would.
Yeah,
use
well,
it.
other departments could do, like, I know the highway guys have an ice machine. Too, to fill up for their coolers and stuff, so.
Yeah, and it is
They
good to
should
use
have
them.
events.
It's not good for them to sit. So
Yes,
ice should
exactly.
be
Yeah.
used.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, so yeah, we use ice for all of our events.
Yeah.
Especially our spring fling, like the community event in May, because everyone's cold for that, and then obviously for summer.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's a really good point.
Yeah,
No,
but I
I-
think just like we put the
I know.
Bridge. in that equipment line, I'm just gonna make a note, cause I don't know that we need to increase anything for that, but I think for this year, maybe that could, cause we
Could
have.
happen. Okay, I can try to find the ones that I was looking at originally to get ideas of price and stuff.
And then you said there's a grant.
There's multiple grants, so how many grants do you guys get in total for program? I know you guys do get, I know there's the one that we always sign off on for, that's part of your pay for the summer, I think through the county, right?
Yep,
Oh, those,
And
yeah.
then, so,
Yeah.
yeah, what else do you get?
we can get up to, it varies because depending on weather or something, if we can't go to a park, we don't get that grant, but we can get up to 3 Connect Kids to Parks grants. And then the other one is we get 2 from the Rondout Valley Education Foundation in the summertime. Which they're amazing. They're really amazing.
And the Kids to Park, that's the one that pays for the buses.
Yes, yep.
There's tons of youth programming money available, in the world,
Yeah.
in general, but us being a rural community, there's a lot more available to us when you look in parameters for rural communities. So this department specifically, I can find a lot of funding for, because there's a lot of grant availability for this type of, department and, there's funding for everything, but there's a lot for youth programming services, like right now, there's Catholic Charities just changed how they did theirs, and you just need to have a sponsor in church, and you can apply for one that's like up to $15,000 for a youth program. I get one every year for my food pantry, that's for a food program one, and I get sponsored by a charity, a church in Stone Ridge, so I think that would be an easy.
There is another grant a small one that we get sometimes. It's the Stewart's Match Grant.
Yes, I was gonna. ask that.
And we've gotten a couple years in a row, we got a small one from them. And I did it based on, it was about $300, I think.
Who writes that?
Yeah, and that was just something that somebody like told me about. And so I don't know how to like,
I hope you
because-
got this year.
yeah.
I write two
I would
a year
appreciate
for different nonprofits and
Yep.
I get at least 4 figures.
Yeah. So because
So-
that, I did it based on like the after school program.
We're not live streaming.
I know, I'm recording, cause it's not working. So I'm recording it and I'll post it.
Yeah, I'm happy to sit down with you. and
yeah, I would love
show
that.
you a bunch
That'd be
of,
great.
like, even like, I'm not bothering you right now, but for our other budget meeting, I have a grant station account, which gives you, that's a special grant search service, that I was looking at, but I know that there's so many for recs, parks, and youth programs. So anything to do with that, there's like a lot of fun and we can aggressively go after
Great.
for these budget.
I
meetings.
believe the stewards one is, the deadline is like February, so let's try to
It's
be
always,
before that.
it's always in January, yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay,
have to write
yeah.
one anyway.
Okay,
I'll
great.
have that.
Farm credit too, don't think we something. Who does it? Farm credit.
Okay.
It's with the regulation. Curious for that one.
Okay, let's keep going with expenditures.
Okay,
We
yeah.
only have.
Okay, so program for the aging, that is like senior activities, senior citizen. I am on 38 or 48. The first one you're gonna see there is event staff. So let me just say, the senior programming that I have right now is one exercise class and the chair yoga class, and then also a wreath class that Bethany does. Those are what we call senior rec right now. There are other things that happen for seniors, it's like Medicare consultations and things like that, but they don't cost money. But so those are the three things that we're expending money on.
Is line dancing in here? or
Line
is that-
dancing, that's adult
Adult.
rec. So
I wasn't sure.
yeah, so event staff, I don't need any event staff for those three things. Supplies and materials, very minimal. Yeah, very minimal. No food, because we changed. I used to have the holiday brunch as a senior activity, but really it's an adult activity. We get all, all different people from the community that come. So that's why there's no food for that. The different groups, that's not me, that's you guys decide that. And then speakers and instructors, so that's where the pay for our instructors for yoga and for we call it Keep It Moving exercise class. It's like an aerobics class. That's where their pay comes from. They get $45 per class and they teach every week and it goes all year long. Adult recreation event staff, that is people who are going to work. Again, it's like the after school staff will help us with events like the holiday party, Easter egg, Thanksgiving, yeah, St. Patrick's Day, right? Yes. Supplies and materials, that's all of those things added up together. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so these are for Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day, the holiday party. I'm trying to say everything that's
The
the
community luncheon.
Yeah, the community luncheon, yep. Which is like a luncheon in the spring. It used to be a Mother's Day luncheon, but now it's just a community luncheon because sometimes we change it up a little bit. And the food, so that's all for that. Speakers and instructors under that line, adult, that's Goldie, that's our line dance class. That's her pay. And then transportation is bus trips, like community trips. Typically with that line, we won't run a trip unless we can get either have it paid for because people pay to go on these trips, or it'll be fairly close. So, but this is just for the cost of the bus to go on bus trips. And that is pretty much it.
Great, before we move on to the backyard area, was there anything that any board members saw, or Stephanie, even you, was there anything you saw that you think needs to be adjusted in the preliminary?
I just have a question about, program for the aging, doesn't have a transportation line, is that all under the adult programming for when you guys do the?
Yeah, the community,
trip?
that's the community trips. Yeah, that's
Okay.
one line. Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it
Yep.
wasn't missing from somewhere.
Yep.
And that is a school bus, if in future we can see if we pull it off to do a field bus, but that's.
I'm gonna find you guys a number and from my husband.
Good, yeah. And so that's we'll, based on where we go, they'll have to probably pay an admission to go someplace. And then they also pay a little bit for transportation We try not to make it too crazy, but we try to cover the cost if we can.
Mhm.
So, and they're usually so grateful. They don't have to drive. They love that. They love that kind of stuff. We want to do more of those. I'd like to really try to do like at least like 4 a year.
You guys should do, just saying, you guys should do a great, I know you guys go to Great Escape with the summer program, but you guys should do a community one to Great Escape, because I was
We have-
never in the
We need
community,
a
I was
food
never
truck
in
for
the
that.
Yeah,
summer
definitely.
program. But
But
I
they
was
would pay to do
in, I would go on the community trip every year to
Yeah.
Great Escape, and it
There
like
was,
$1.
there was
I
just a
know,
request too from one of our regular seniors. To do a leaf peeping in Lake George for this time of the year, but would have to be a coach bus. They could not be
Yeah.
on a school bus that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's possibilities, we just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll plan that out next year.
Yeah, exactly.
They love
These
the
are all
casino.
great ideas.
I'm sorry for asking, but
No, no.
the speakers and instructors.
Yep.
How come that doubled? Are you planning on doing more? It was for the yoga, you said it was paid $45 per class.
Yeah, so we used to only do 1 class a day. Now they do 2. And the Rochester seniors fund the other class for them. So we're picking up an extra class. So we're paying more, but we're now doing 2 classes on Tuesdays and 2 classes on Thursdays. Line dancing is just 1 class on Wednesdays from 11 to 12. So that's why that increased.
Thank you.
Have you captured all the food costs for the events, what we're doing?
Yeah, we have a closeout for every single program and event that we do, broken down to the T of how much money everything costs.
So we're not expecting people to have to pay a portion of, for their meal.
To come, oh, no,
No.
not at all. They do give donations.
Right.
Yeah, we do
But
get
it's
donations.
free for people.
Yes, free
Yes.
to come. Yes, and we really appreciate being able to do that and give back to the
Yeah,
community.
I don't want people not coming. 'cause
Yeah.
they-
Yeah, oh no, they get luncheons give back. They're really fun. Okay, any other questions or anything?
So we'll basically, for the preliminary budget, we're taking everything that's currently in the tentative budget. And that'll be in the preliminary budget so far. So no changes. Okay. So I think it might be good to quickly look at revenue because we're on that topic.
Okay. Did you? That's okay. I know it's towards the back. I don't have those pages.
And those were like a little,
Oh, maybe.
Yes, right.
Right. Oh, it's not ours. Oh. If somebody
I
finds
just had it open,
can you
yeah.
just let me know?
So all the way open is down.
This is expectation.
Oh, it's all- revenue, yeah, and it's just a summary.
It's on page 1.
So I didn't.
The Recus?
Yeah. The departmental income on page 1.
Yeah,
That's four. Okay.
so
Yep, I see.
we put in. Basically, we just put in what was proposed, so the fee structure and everything is the same, so. Youth and recreation. Fees.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's like registration for basketball, registration for summer, registration for after school program. Those are the monies that are coming in all year consistently. And then, is there like a donation line too?
Yeah, we have. 2705, so that should be on the last page.
That's page 2 of
I'm looking at my spreadsheet, so it's 2705 under miscellaneous.
Yeah, okay, so those are donations that we get for our different, mostly our luncheons.
Yeah, and I think this is I think this is just rec department, in terms of what they put in.
150.
So I have you guys have 5,100, but it's possible that I added some other town donations in there from.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that seems high.
So this, it does seem high, but I do think there could be a chance that it could go over. what
there's
we said.
other, yeah,
Um. What else I just said? Oh, the state, where is the state funding? Can
Okay,
you show
so
me where
that's-
that is
yep.
real quick?
that is, the next page. So you've got, the state aid youth.
Okay, thank you.
So
Yeah, I
that's
see it.
3820.
That's the OCFS?
Yeah, that seems high too.
Is that also?
What does that
also
also
encompass? That comes in.
Yeah, we usually
Yes.
get 1,000.
We've
Or
gotten,
1300.
more
Oh,
than
you know
that,
what? You're considering the grants income.
because we,
In the state.
That's what it is.
I'm gonna write that
yeah, because that's what they
Because
have
it's,
classified as.
yeah,
Okay,
because of
great.
our
Yeah, that's,
ID number, right?
Yeah. Okay,
yes,
awesome, okay.
that's
Good to know.
everything that comes from the state.
Okay,
Because it's DEC.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's including LCFS too?
Yes.
The county? Okay.
Yeah. I do think, there
That
is.
can fluctuate.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
That fluctuates depending on cost of trip.
We
So
did
this-
just get those numbers.
Yeah, so is that projected like it has to come in? How does that line work? Because the trips this year were quite expensive and they were covered. But next year, they may not be as expensive and they'll be covered, but they won't bring in that much. Because it's a grant. Sort of. You know, it's not like it's like the OCFS, which is guaranteed the same amount every year. So
Okay, I just put in everything
that came in
that
this
was
year.
classified,
Yeah.
that's classified as that. So you guys put in OCFS as 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I factored in.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you said it was 3,800.
Oh, we have.
No, that's the.
that's
budget
Year to
code,
date.
3820.
Oh,
But if this,
3820,
it does say
year-to-date.
5,000.
Yeah, year to date, we have 3,700. Let me just pull up the 3820, right?
I think Bethany's just worried that we don't wanna shoot high if we're not able to bring that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're not able to bring it. Although we'll always
So,
try, of course.
What I have right now is,
Stephanie, can I ask you a question? How do you handle in-kind donations? Do we report that anywhere in here?
I really haven't seen it in this.
all our donations come through the post office.
No, in-kind, non-monetary value.
Well, they're not,
So-
we don't count them in our budget.
Yeah. So we get donations of things and I report, like, when something's donated here, I report them to Erin I write like a thing to the board, so she has them on record. But that's all I know as far as like donations that we get of
Yeah,
physical.
we would put
items.
monetary value on
Yeah.
it.
It would be on like our, like a ledger, but they're not part of our budget.
Okay, interesting.
Cause the,
My nonprofits, that 501c3s have to have them in their budget, so that's why I was wondering.
Like with a monetary
We have to
value.
have a monetary value. of
Who
all the
determines
physical
that?
goods
How do you
that-
determine?
There's a formula that you can use.
Okay.
That's
That's
based off, you can do it based off poundage or based off item numbers. But that's why I was wondering, cause like I know like half of my budget is $35,000 a year of things given to us, not the value of them, not.
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure if we had. that, So,
No, this are the town budgets have to be revenue and expenditures for the calendar year, so we're not counting. We're not counting
Yes.
assets, we're not counting.
okay,
It's like,
yeah, yeah,
it's
a
time
form of
bound,
asset.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's time bound, so that's what I mean, that would be like an asset, but we don't, that's not how.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we had to or if there was,
Yeah.
What's the year-to-date?
if that was included in.
We're part of the ones that we get,
Yeah.
we find donations,
So-
like we would sometimes.
Yeah, we may not break that up, so like that for us.
Yeah.
in a month.
Does it, like,
So-
how does that affect us
We don't
if,
do that.
if there's
Yeah,
a
we're
year
pretty-
where we predicted this,
Now
but
number.
it doesn't?
So I think it's,
Is the,
last year we budgeted 4,000. In 2023, we received over 5. I think it just,
Okay.
I have to go back and look. I think what I was doing is I went through and I added, like, I was adding from here because on this revenue cover sheet, what I was doing was like I don't actually know exactly what that state aid youth includes. Cause I know
Yeah,
that you
so it
have,
doesn't include the donations.
correct. So it's possible that I was looking at, just our previous year's revenues to look at that.
Yeah.
Right now, what I have I'm not connected to our QuickBooks right now. But we got those 2 grants came in that were $2,600. And then I think something else came in since I ran this report.
Probably, yeah, there was 3 total. I don't know the exact number. I
Yeah.
can pull it up in my file.
Yes, there was
Yeah.
5
The-
grants.
Yeah,
There should
Yeah,
have
but
been
not
3
state
from-
aid. We're just talking state.
so just
Right,
to
just
answer
to
your
connect
question
kids.
though, just to answer your question, everything, it does not hurt you. But if our revenue is less, like $2,000 than we planned,
Mhm.
then I just have to do a budget modification. So it's,
Okay,
I wouldn't say that it hurts you. We don't budget your department in that way.
Okay.
So all revenue is calculated together and all expenditures are calculated together. So it would just be, we're guessing on revenue for a lot of stuff
Okay.
based on previous year's experience.
Mhm.
So what I wouldn't want to do is say 0, and then we actually get $5,000 just because that's $5,000 that we didn't need to tax. But if we feel like we want to drop that down in case you don't feel like you'd be able to necessarily get that amount of grant funding, then we should.
So we could get more. It's just, I didn't know if it was required once it's in the budget, that we then have to strive for it and make sure it
Yeah.
happens. That's.
I mean, yes, if you are putting in the budget that you want to pursue these same grants,
Mhm.
then the expectation would be that those grants are pursued. You're not.
yeah, but something, they're different every
values
year.
are-
Yes.
They're always different.
And then,
But I can strive.
yeah, cause I mean, the grant
Knowing
itself,
that.
the 3 grants live at $3,000 total for each. We never have trips that cost that much money. Say we did 3 of them, that'd be 9,000. That would come in just from those 3, not even including OCFS. So that's what I'm saying. So say we do 3 of them next year that are just like Taconic, that's like $75 plus the bus, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
probably only $800 times
Yeah.
3. So
But-
it's even less.
but
So
you-
that's all. That's all
The
it's
grants
gonna
just pay the cost of the
be.
trip.
Yes, yeah,
So
they're
it
not
shouldn't
like,
matter because it'll cancel out. If we have 5,000 on revenue, but you only incur an expense of 3,000, and then we end up getting 3,000.
Yes,
it's not
exactly how it
gonna-
Yes, okay,
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. that's,
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank
Yeah,
you for.
that's-
It's not like we're collecting taxes for that.
Yeah.
It's just revenue.
Okay.
And to that point, I do think we could actually increase this budget line. Personally, as a
Oh, of
grant
the grant.
writer
Yeah, the ones who said you saw.
for them, I know just from having me at my food pantry, we like doubled what we normally get in grants in a year, having like a dedicated writer researching them. And even if it's just me researching them and then just sending you potential ones that you see if you have enough time to do and help,
Mhm.
I think we could easily at least get a couple thousand, if not up to 5,000 more this budget line next year.
Do you apply for the grant before the trip happens?
Yes,
So we could always just apply for a grant and if they get the money.
You know what I'm saying? We're trying to balance the budget more, so if we want to increase the revenue
and then
line,
really.
I'm
shoot for more revenue.
confident that I can make up to 5,000 for this department on that revenue line.
Yeah, but I don't know if we should do that in this because it's not like we could get grant money for a trip and then use it to pay for a highway expenditure. So unless we have a corresponding expense in the rec department for that trip, like we'd have to add that trip to the line item expense.
But this isn't just the trips in this this is all grant fund.
Okay, so this, okay.
So it could be any grant for a youth program. I can blanket, depending on what the parameters are from the funder, I could blanketly just apply for unrestricted funds for the entire.
And there is the
department,
9,000 in.
that they get to choose what they wanna do with.
For admissions.
Yeah,
That's
for-
the
Could
expense.
that
Yeah.
be,
I think
That's what we
the
said.
responsible thing, the fiscally responsible thing to do today is to either leave it or drop it to 4,000. And then if we have specific things, then we could, because I think I just wanna, it's better to be conservative on revenue.
Mhm.
And if there's some more specific things that we find that we wanna pursue that apply to the program, particular, like this $1,500 for the ice maker, if that's like something we know we could get, then we could add that as a revenue line, for example. We could just like do that while we're reviewing the preliminary budget before we set the public hearing.
You guys can leave it.
I think maybe.
I'm fine with the 5,000.
Yeah, and then if
That's
there's,
what you
yeah, if
feel.
we wanna, if there's more, then we can bump it up. Like, okay.
Yep.
So we have that, and then we have the fees or the registration fees.
Do you want me
Is
to?
that everything? And then the donations, which should include anything that came in from Kate's proposal too, so I think that's why that's higher, but I made a note to just double check that. I think that's all the revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you'll see though, in federal revenue, I have $128,012. So that's our remaining ARPA funds. So we do have to have those under contract or added as revenue and posted as loss funds by the end of the year. So we're doing that, but as a other side of the expenditure, on the same page that we were on for culture and recreation, we have the parks equipment.
What page was that?
34. I put in. I'm sorry, I don't have my paper copies.
Oh, no, wait, it's 35.
So 7110.2, that's parks equipment. I put in $75,000 expenditure as a placeholder. The plan for that is that that's coming out of that ARPA revenue, and that, but I put that as a placeholder, and I asked Ashley to put together a sketch plan so that we could then look at this number and see where it's at, and if we need to lower it, or we can lower it or raise it. The remaining ARPA funds are gonna just be posted as revenue in our budget. So they are not gonna be matched with anything else.
Okay, so for next year, this is just my silly little sketch.
It's
of-
not silly.
Of what I would like. I would like to see in the backyard, the community center, new play equipment in the middle of the yard. I'd like to see the basketball court refurbished, and 2 new basketball hoops, installed in the ground, for safety reasons, and maybe some benches, and maybe eventually a pavilion. As well as a new fence, which I know you guys are already working on. So I went ahead and just looked at some playground, companies online, and I found this one playground company. It's called Playground Boss. And I thought they looked very reasonable, and I spoke to a man from there, and he was able to go ahead and put together, I guess, renderings and sketches and stuff of what I was asking him, for the playground equipment and for the basketball hoops. I am thinking that we could possibly have the highway department, repave the basketball court. I think that would save money, and then, they could, this estimate includes the playground equipment and installation and surfacing and putting in 2 basketball hoops. So I have a copy for you, Erin, if you wanna look it over.
Okay.
I don't know how does it work, with the ARPA money as far as, do you need to get bids or are you able to just, yeah, how
So
does that-
there, we have to follow all of that. It's a little tricky because I believe, I have to look into it. I think it's more than being allocated. I think we have to be under contract for it. So it might be that we're posting it as lost revenue, as a revenue item, and so it's just going into like the general pool, but it doesn't matter the way I'm thinking about the budget, we're putting that in this revenue and we're gonna have this as an expense.
Okay.
So it could be going to lost revenue and
Gotcha.
offsetting some other,
So it's gonna
costs
follow
of it.
procurement and all the.
yeah, we will be following our procurement policy.
Okay.
For this, I do believe it's 30,000 for Public Works.
Okay.
It's a higher number than if it were like non-public works.
So these estimates are a little higher than that. I was keeping in mind the 75,000 and the fact that you need money to put into the fencing. But there's 2.
We have the
options.
fencing budgeted in this budget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So one of these is, the total is $50,053. And the other one is, because I told them to try to stay around 50 for these, the other total is $42,031. I can, do you want me to, should I make copies or just pass them around or?
I think you can pass them around
Okay.
and it's possible. Well, so just to like frame the conversation, we can take a look at this type of playground equipment, see if there's any similar companies that are on like state bid that we could, and see like in terms of pricing. But
Okay.
yeah, with that threshold, we do have to bid, and so we would just need to do that process.
So when you put it out for bid and then they have to seek it out.
Yes.
Okay, well, these are just some options and some examples of
Yeah.
what I would like to see out there.
Yeah, but this is the equipment, this is the size and type of equipment that you would like to
Yes.
see out.
Yes, yep,
And there's installment in that, and also the hoops.
and the
too.
hoops
Yes.
as well, that's all included. Here, I'm just gonna adjust these.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that's really not is the resurfacing of the basketball court.
Right,
and the-
yeah, I
Yes,
did
I
talk to
didn't-
Jeff.
yeah. I figured that would be the best way to
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
But I
That would
love
be a
this.
general, yeah.
Yeah, and so we just, we use the backyard for summer program, after school program. It doesn't need to be an extravagant playground. I just want something for them to do back there. It's very like barren at the moment. Something for them to play on. So there's swings and then there's like a climbing structure. And I thought this company was actually very reasonable. So here's a picture. Let me just look at what they look like. There's 2 different structures.
And the foundation and everything. Those are really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this, so like padding
Yeah.
area that you see in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that like the rubberized surface or?
It's wood chips. That's the cheapest. But I think there are other options.
Yes.
I have a request as far as this project goes.
Mhm.
I would love to see like an in-house committee be formed to see this project through. If we're able to do that, if anybody's interested in doing that. Bethany and I really want to be like really involved with the process. Plus I think we have to be because we have a lot of programs that happen. And so like construction of something like this, like there needs to be a lot of communication and stuff of when it's going to happen, when we have our programs going on and things like that. So if that's possible, I don't know, what the rules are with that, but I would love to have a committee.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't see any issue with that or having you be the point person. Like if we do put it out to bid, having you be listed.
Mhm.
And because we've done that with other departments before
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I
Those
also
are just-
think we got a really great, letter. and
It is the same setup.
It's the
That
same
you're
setup,
looking
it's
at, yeah.
different, I'm sorry.
We got a great letter from the Senior Youth Recreation Commission about what they'd like to see back there. I
Yeah.
think you were involved in that
Yeah.
too. So I think it's right now, it's like preliminary design and costs, and absolutely,
Yeah,
I think it should be in, however, we need to set it up with either a committee, but very collaborative, inclusive, great. I think we all want to just have it be what it needs to be for the program.
yeah, and I'm kind of envisioning, there are other things that I would like to include on my wish list. I'm kind of envisioning, this is basic, like what I would want to happen next year. But in the future, there are other things that would be very beneficial back there. Like, I would love to have a pavilion with picnic tables and stuff, so that we have shade. And you know, obviously, you guys know, we need a new storage shed. That's a big,
Yeah,
and that, I don't know what the plan is for that. There might be another plan in progress or whatever for that, but I definitely have other things I wanna see happen, but I'm okay with, you know, doing steps at a time and doing it right,
Yeah.
you know.
well, I like having an overall concept design because that allows us to like not, like, make it so something that you'd like to happen can't happen because again, this is about planning, collaboration, and communication. I think we all, I don't think anyone on the board wants to be making decisions about this on our own. I'm hopeful, I have to take a look at where we're at. I was hoping we could purchase a storage shed with this year's budget.
Okay,
So it's not part of, I wasn't thinking of that as being part of this.
okay. Would it be helpful if I sent you all of that email? If I just forwarded you all the emails and stuff with all this information, so you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
No problem.
great. So,
So that's pretty much it. The only
Okay.
thing, is, so if this. So this company would have to, they're very interested in doing it, I'll just say that. How would I be able to let
Yes.
them know about it?
once the bid is out, yes.
Okay.
You can send the bid to anyone.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay.
oh, that's okay. I have no.
I didn't steal it.
Did
My MO.
You're
Oh,
really valuable, we budgeted for that.
Yeah.
Did
Did anybody have any other questions about that?
Do you have to worry at all, like, for insurance purposes of what type of equipment you get, like, for the monkey
Yeah.
bars?
Well, yeah, I mean, yes.
Oh. Did we put in your budget, having the playgrounds, or I guess in the parks budget, having playground equipment inspected every year?
I believe it is encompassing of that for the information that I have. And the other big thing is we do have a buildings and grounds manager position that I'm hopeful will be assisting to make sure all of that kind of
Okay.
things happen. So,
Well, I just wanted to make sure, because I know that was something that,
yes,
actually Bethany, the actual senior youth rec, when we had done the inventory of the backyard.
Yeah, so,
March,
Yeah.
April, that was one of the points. March.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's-
Just
you
making
know.
sure that it gets like on a calendar.
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah,
Happen
and-
every year, so we know
Yeah,
it's
and-
recurring, not that it was anyone's fault that certain.
Well, yeah, well, also, this has never actually been considered like a legitimate, like, playground.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
even though it's an
always just,
actual-
yeah, it's not like, you know, it hasn't been an official thing. So that's what we're gonna make it, we're gonna make it. And we'll get inspected, so,
With proper installment.
exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to-
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, wait,
Huh?
can we maybe ask for an idea with some form of tire chip
like the one that used to be.
I said, the like the one that used to be at the park, man, I will
Okay.
die on this hill.
So-
I'm trying to pick back in- It's a town, one town park, and not just because my daughter's name is Sailor.
So that is something to explore. I do know that there are a lot of scouts in the area too, who do things like that for like Eagle projects. They just did one at Letterman Children's Center. They put a pirate ship in. So
Where you gotta go,
that's
Charlotte.
something for us to look into.
I brought up the big kid side of the college, and I didn't see it. Yeah, Sailor. But yes, I would like to request, pirate ships. I saw those bids were a little under what the budget is, and I.
Yeah,
have a grant
I
in
thought
front of
that
me
the
to apply.
fencing was gonna be part of that. That's why.
So,
And if there is
Perfect.
statutes of insurance, which was a great point,
Mhm.
just let maybe a list or something so we can know.
For what? I'm sorry?
For,
If the insurance requires certain types of equipment and stuff.
Oh,
I
or
do
certain
think-
types not allowed, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I have no fear based on the process we went through with that buying a piece of playground equipment like this.
Okay.
I mean, that is,
they probably.
That's
don't
what-
be certain. They,
yeah.
You know,
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
that is a really great.
yeah, we're a little, late behind,
Okay,
so thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
This was great,
We
and we
appreciate
can
it.
follow up,
You got the picture?
yes. All right.
Hot off the press.
I know, I can totally go up too.
What's going on?
Cheers.
Come on. So we're actually, the streaming wasn't working, so I'm recording it. This will be posted to our page.
Aaron saying no swearing.
But just a reminder that this is a public meeting. This will be posted online. And we are talking about details about departments and positions and things like that, but nothing confidential or personal. We just want to make sure we're not sharing anything that people wouldn't want to have shared. So I'm making that note at the top of every single meeting. So we'll give Charlotte just a second, and I'm gonna pull up. This is the town board's working version, so any changes we make, I'm tracking in here.
Okay.
General environment, it like.
Where it should be.
Yeah, it's community services. For some reason, 8664, so we're gonna start with expenditures. And
45, guys.
I think to notes, what we put together. But I basically just entered in. So, so basically, the first section represents, what we had discussed in terms of staffing the department. We are doing currently, we're going to have a meeting, a town board meeting where we look at the pay scale all together. What I put in the tentative budget is a 8% increase for all pay scales across the board. So that's what this represents, and it basically the hours are kind of what everyone is working. So we didn't have back and forth about this section, but we can just look at it. We've already implemented at the past couple of weeks, we already implemented a lot of these position changes already. So this represents having them fully funded for fiscal year 25. So we have code enforcement officer at 28 hours a week. And then what we had discussed is funding our building inspector part-time position. So that currently doesn't exist, so this is a new change. So that's a building inspector at 20 hours a week. And that represents a pay scale that commensurate with that position. So then we have the municipal code aide, which we recently appointed Alyssa to. That's funded at 37.5 hours a week, and then having zoning coordinator funded for 35 hours a week. Then we kept one fire inspector at 15 hours a week, which I think when I put this together, I don't know that we like said that, so I wanted to confirm that that's what we discussed.
We did discuss.
Okay, great. And then we did have the constables in there. I have removed that line, because we had talked about with this much staff, perhaps not needing it, but also we have a lot of room within the constable staffing line in terms of like, I actually am trying to simplify the budget so that we don't have staff like spread out throughout the entire budget over different budget codes. So there's still the ability if that's a
Sure.
need. Particularly, one thing we've talked about too is pairing a constable with a code enforcement staff person for some of those calls, or if we have a need for that, it's still available in the budget. So probably people calling to tell me that we're not streaming. Okay, so we will be reviewing my proposal for pay, but is there anything that we want to discuss on this from the board or from the departments?
I don't have anything.
No. Okay, so moving on. We have the equipment line, and I forgot to take specific notes. I know this is 2 desks, 3 chairs.
Yep, 3 chairs, and I think those were,
The
that was,
main,
yeah, I think that was the big ones for us.
yeah.
We were just hoping for the desks.
Yeah, primarily the desk. And I think this was the 2 desks at 800 was what we put in here
I think,
each.
yes, and then we had the chairs.
And then the
Yeah,
chairs. I think we did like 300 each for those.
I think it was a little bit less, but
Okay.
somewhere around that.
Yeah, there was one other,
On the filing cabinets or another
I
storage?
feel like there was another thing that we had in here that you had,
I think it was just the desks and the chairs.
just desks and chairs, okay.
I
Partition, I added a partition,
Okay.
yeah. Currently, the setup has a partition. But we need to purchase town equipment for that office.
Yeah, you can come take a look at it. It's cute, but
Yeah.
it's be a little bit more efficient and functional.
Petition where?
No, just, we need
Similar
to,
to what we have right now.
similar to what is there now, it's just the town needs to, purchase that equipment, yes. Yeah, so if a partition isn't needed, that's fine. I remember that I added like a couple $100 in. Okay. So any thoughts about the equipment line? I am working on getting some like best cost estimates for that. So it is a little pending, but if is there any changes that the board wants to make for the preliminary?
I don't see it.
Okay.
Can we go back to that petition? Are you talking about the room between my room and your room, or the room between? the
No,
desks?
Just.
currently the way the desks are set up, they're next to each other.
Yeah.
And there's a divider so that they're not staring at each other's.
Oh.
And
you're
that's a
talking-
separate, that's
Alright.
always like a separate thing that you buy, or like some of the office furniture has like a taller piece so that you're not just like staring at each other. So that's a very small office, has 2 people in it, and having the desks next to each other is the most efficient use of the space. I wanted to make sure that we included something so that however you guys want to set up the office, you can. I think it's a very brilliant setup because where the door is, you can both see the people and so I think just making sure that we have the available funds to set it up in this way that it is now. Okay, so office supplies. I think that's just tracking our expenses for those.
What's the software?
Yeah, so this has been, so well, first going back to professional services, I can't remember what that is.
Training, maybe?
No, that was our education. The professional services I thought was needed, but
No. I'll look, I'll see. Well, we kept it at 500. I'll see what that is. It looks like you use it a little tiny bit every year, but that would be like if you,
Like an outside inspector.
yeah, an outside inspector or need to have someone doing something like an engineer or like having the sound meters certified and like that. Okay,
Is that what it
software.
is?
No, that's equipment. I mean, that's what we bought. The sound meters, that 52016, that's the sound meter. So software would be, this has been in the budget since 2021. I feel like that we would put it in and then take it out. So this would be like software to operate the department.
You guys work out of mostly like Word based
Mhm.
programming now and Adobe.
Yeah.
mostly.
Word and
Okay, cool.
So
I'm fine with that. I just wasn't sure what.
So currently, we're looking at permitting type software that would like help track complaints, the actual permit process. It would create a file. There would be like a public facing digital application that people could upload things into. And then the inspectors, code enforcement, municipal aid, zoning coordinator they could track the progress to like open application to it being a closed or approved permit or violations or anything like that. So these programs exist. We get solicited for them all the time. And I will say, I think $7,000 is a very fair, if not slightly generous total from what I've been seeing. Like 5,000 would probably even be sufficient for what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
Does that,
There's a lot of good programs out there,
yes,
just for our laptops, just having checkoffs on the laptop of what we've inspected and stuff would be, a handy tool to have.
yeah.
Can we do just 5,000?
We could, I think, is that,
yes, the highest one I found was 5,300, so I think
Yeah.
5,000.
okay,
Because the
Yeah.
Word and Excel.
we're starting to get quotes now.
Because the Microsoft stuff, it's under different. that we don't have.
Yes, that's for everybody,
So
yeah,
this is like just for your own.
this is just,
So let's, I mean, we could do 5,500.
okay.
5,300.
Yeah, there's a couple, I think if we were to also, all of the ones I've looked at want to do it, this type of thing for the whole town. So if you do that, it like costs a lot less per department, so that's definitely what we're finding. An education conference, that's, everybody is gonna do that same training.
Yeah, well, that's what we budgeted for only because it seemed like it made the most sense. It was a 3-day class, that you could get all of your engineering and your topics in one conference and you're done. we've completed it, and it's early in the year, it's the first quarter of the year, second quarter, so it's.
That's mandatory training.
Yeah.
we have to-
So
Yeah.
it just seemed like it was a really great way to,
Mhm.
I'm sure we all kind of were on the same page and had the same. process.
Mhm. And is that enough for other things? That, in terms of like, is there any other interest in any other trainings?
I don't know of it yet, but
But once in a while, there are seminars or something. We should check in, usually with environmental issues, DECs.
Yeah.
seminars and stuff, But that's,
Those usually don't
that's
cost very
25.
much. Okay, okay. As long as you feel like it's enough to cover.
I think so.
Okay. Mileage. We did keep that flat. I think I just want to check in and make sure we could bump it up, given the increase in staff, if, in terms of like the vehicle usage. Or if we feel like two vehicles for the department is still good. Mileage will be reimbursement for using your own.
Sure. I think it's something that we all kind of have to figure out, with the new staff and who will we want, like working what hours. I mean, I think 2 vehicles now should be sufficient, but maybe we do need another one, but it's new and. Well, the
For right
office.
now. should be able to
Okay.
work with it.
We are looking, I think, we're looking at having a town vehicle that would be like a reserve, available for staff, particularly at the town hall, but it would be that median in an interim. That would be something that could be, if you needed it, it could be like signed up for.
Sure.
It would have like, yeah, it would be,
Used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause this should only be like for training and stuff, it's fine. It's like if you're going out as code enforcement, you should probably be in town.
yeah, I think we all feel that way, but I think my concern is just if someone is using their vehicle, then they should be tracking their mileage. I just want to make sure that we're not budgeting.
Goodness. Today you're replacing, okay?
Okay, and then postage, this was kind of more me, I think, but wanting to make sure that we've talked about doing more proactive mailings about
Yes.
things.
Yeah, fire safety and short-term rentals, 2 big ones that.
We just want to
Yeah.
have plenty of funds available to do mailings.
And I think some of the violations too, will go certified, which was a little bit more. expensive,
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
This mailing is quite ridiculous, so. I mean, if you want to mail a letter down the street, it goes to Albany.
I know. The last mailing we did, went to Connecticut.
that's,
Did you notice that?
yes, I put it on his desk earlier because we were, we
Yeah.
noticed the same thing. From Akron to an address in Akron.
Okay, that's basically the full department. I did want to, yeah, anything. The one thing that I forgot we should add is, uniforms.
Oh, we did talk about it.
We did, we don't have a quote for that.
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
Please don't.
Okay. I meant to get quotes, but I thought we should plan for that.
Yeah.
Typically for shirts. So I think if we put in, I mean, gonna be like between $30 and $40 each. Maybe 3. So
You're talking like polo shirts.
a polo shirt with a town seal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna add 300, but I have to add that code. I mean, was there any,
I'm sorry, I thought I added that line when we went over that and shared. Hang on. Didn't I thought?
you might have, and I might have been the one that,
I thought we added that in, so I'm sorry, it's not there. But-
you know what, we had it,
Oh, yeah, okay.
but we didn't have
we didn't put anything in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
because,
I see, we just inserted it.
just so we could remember to talk about it again.
Uh-huh, yeah, okay, so. looks Any other, I mean, I think it's a start to have like a polo shirt. Any other things along that line,
Ball cap,
a ball cap?
for us bald guys. You don't need, but.
Yeah, I have been thinking
No,
of having that, sort of doing this for all departments.
Sure.
Yeah,
ball cap is really easier to put on and
yeah,
just has a state seal, code enforcement. I have 2 or 3 of them. The jerseys and stuff too. We buy them at the meetings that we have.
yeah. We just bought ball caps. Yeah. Great. Now,
I have a quick question.
yeah,
So the tickets that you had made up and purchased were this?
those are in the constabulary. So if there were, if we were gonna have, we did increase the office supplies, but like, yeah, if we were gonna do appearance
Mhm.
forms that the code enforcement office could write, we could take it out of that line. For the record, Ms. Saylor has joined our meeting. Okay. Anything else? We just made that adjustment. We decreased software and then we added some uniforms.
Anything on the revenue side, are there any fees that you think need to be adjusted up?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I think short-term rental fees should go up. And I also think that the addition, both commercial and residential, base fee should go up to the same as a new construction. Only because the review is the exact same. You're doing the exact same thing you would do for an addition that you would do for a regular, a new construction. So I felt like that should have been the same, that should be, and then the short-term rentals, I think should be doubled again.
It'd be
At least
tremendous
double.
amount, because I tell you what they're getting for a week. That's totally ridiculous. So for a week, they're getting $10,000 a week for short-term.
Yes.
Like double that fee is what you're.
Yeah, for each one, both the renewals and the annual inspections, I think they should double.
Okay, so now we're looking at revenue.
Sorry.
You did jump ahead. So no, I think this is fine. I just want to make sure we do it that we go in a methodical way so that I understand in terms of the projections. Oh, sorry, one.
Oh, it is, okay, we're back on.
So revenue, so we're looking at, we'll be jumping around. So 1289. Is that right?
Yeah, probably one of us would do that, so.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Oh, there it is, sorry. Okay, so this, you projecting that is going to go down.
I believe so, but it's hard. Honestly, it's been so hard. COVID was a really hard year to judge it on actually in 2020, so I don't really have a lot of data to back that up. I can only tell you that I've seen a decrease over the last couple of years, so I just anticipate it again next year, but I don't really have
Yeah,
any accurate. I
yeah,
just feel that way.
yeah, no, I
That's
think,
where that came
I
from.
think makes sense it's definitely been trending down.
Yeah.
Is that a fee that we control?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about, I think I'm looking at raising fees sort of in a across the board? Is
Sure.
that one where you feel like it could, or it's good where it's at? I know we raised it a few years ago.
Yeah, I thought we raised it actually this last year. I think that one is a fair one.
Okay.
Based on the amount of time it takes to do the report and the inspection that it takes, I think that that is.
Where it's at
Yeah.
is good for 2020. Okay. Our next one is 1540 fire inspection fees. So this, we had, budgeted. This, you're, expecting to go up.
Yeah, and we do have about 60 more that have to be done by the end of 2024.
Yeah.
So you will see that revenue, you'll see that increase. But those are numbers that should increase as well. I think there's a lot involved in a fire safety inspection. You know, and we have enormous buildings that are paying $200 and it takes a lot of time and there's reports to go with it. And I think that we could easily increase those as well.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes us a whole day to.
Yeah, there's all this stuff. Yeah, some of like the camps and the resorts and things like that, you know, they really do take hours.
Yeah, because
so
it's the
much-
same cost for the resort compared to another large.
Yes, and it's,
space, right?
yeah, and it's, yeah, so we could definitely work on those.
Do you guys typically do a lot of those fire inspections in the last quarter of the year?
No, this year is a different year. Short-term rentals took up a lot of our time. We focused a lot on that this year to kind of get that under control. And we kind of did an internal audit of our fire safety inspections. We had to kind of adjust things. We learned that we were not charging the way that we should have been. Things weren't getting done. Some of them are annual, some of them are, by, so yeah, so it's, there was a lot that we were working on. So letters just went out for these and we have about 60 that we hope to have scheduled and done by the end of the year to wrap that up. And then the plan is to have it done within the first 6 months of next year to tighten that up. But yeah,
And like she was saying, some are annual, some are.
Yeah, some are
Yeah, we had to-
biannual, yeah.
we had to come up with a little bit of a better system. It was not as efficient as it could have been. So we've been kind of tweaking
Well,
that.
good.
So
I just wanted to
it
make
did
sure.
get,
22 wasn't too far of a reach to be budgeting with the increases, like
Yeah.
because I was looking at ours for this year was only at 11, so I was like wondering if like you guys had a huge chunk that come in the last quarter. or
this year,
not.
yes, this year we do.
You
because-
will, but that's not typical. But
Exactly.
you will have more fire inspections because
Exactly.
you kind of redid your schedule of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what we discussed, is that you think by the end of the year, it's gonna be about
yes,
22.
yep,
So, and then you hypothetically would kind of know what is due next year.
yep. Yeah, we were able to create a spreadsheet and a better inventory of what we had. So now we know who needs to go and when, who's been done, like, I can share that with you in a Google Doc that you can
Okay.
see, but,
So
just have it on first.
if we were to increase fees,
Mhm.
that would represent, we would be increasing the department estimate of 22,000.
Yes, for next year.
Okay, so what I'd like, if the board is okay with this, what I'd like to do is we can discuss all together what we think should be increased, and then Alyssa and we can work together on some of the actuals, and then at our next meeting, we'll enter in some of these increases in revenue.
Sure.
So the next item is 1580, restitution surcharge. Is that right? Yeah.
I don't have that on the page. I'm totally wrong on your computer.
1589.
No, this one isn't. They're not fully.
Oh, no, don't listen to me. That's a nothing. 1560, this is my problem with looking at paper versus a spreadsheet. 1560, safety inspection fees.
That is the short-term rentals.
That's all, yeah, and that's decreasing because we have no new ones.
Exactly right. So each one of those will have to have,
It's
The
2
two.
years, right?
yeah, but they have to have that annual inspection, which costs them $200. So you'll see that number decreasing.
Yeah, so it'll be everyone who's current, that would be that times 200, and then any owner off.
Yes, that, exactly.
Is that because you guys did everyone this year? Because we had.
Well, we had a
multiple
couple,
years.
yeah, I think maybe we have like
10 or 15 that were on that off year, so they have to renew this year.
But there's not a lot that were. on that
Exactly right. I think
Yeah.
maybe-
Yeah, it was-
Maybe 15. I'll have to
Yeah,
look through,
it was,
but
it was less than 20.
Yeah.
The next year,
All of
it's
those
gonna be
will
all
new.
of them.
Yeah, every year you'll see. that
Yeah.
number.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why that's decreasing. Now, you do think we should double those again?
I know that's a lot, and it will come as a shock to some of the owner occupieds, but I do think it's fair.
Okay, so we should look at that. And then the next one is 2550 public safety permits. Which ones are those?
There's 7 and then we've got the good ones.
25.
I can
Oh,
go
those
look.
are demos, those are fire,
Oh, okay.
firework applications and.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
So I could not, yes, those are fire demos.
Yes. Yeah,
I got it, this is the short. That was what the-
condemnation.
Okay. How do you feel about those? That's pretty,
I think those will be, I think those are. Well, same.
okay. Yeah, and this, we just were projecting our actual. We're just like spending what it's gonna look like we have for the year.
Gotcha.
That's why, that's where 7,000. Okay, and then for building permits,
I think those will increase if we, obviously, like, that number won't be what we were going to increase the base price.
okay,
So that would.
and that again is just tracking where we're at for actual this year. And then miscellaneous building permits. Again, I mean, we've talked about this, we feel that also just having more staff in the office is gonna increase a lot of these numbers. So in terms of the fee structure that we have for those, is that something you think should be changed?
No,
Yeah,
no, I mean, we increased that one, so I think that one was okay. I think that that's fine. If you were to do anything, maybe make the base price the 100 for the first 1,000, but
Okay.
it kind of seems to be going right now.
okay. Okay. Okay, I think that, was there anything else,
Not for me.
Jared?
No, already quite well, yeah. I believe any increases
Yeah.
necessary.
Mhm.
We are quite a bit low.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Anything else from the board? Okay, great. I was hoping to come meet with you guys on Monday
Sure.
in the morning.
Yes, I think the schedule's pretty open.
Okay, maybe 8:30?
See you then.
8:30?
8:30 works for
Okay,
us.
8:30 works,
Yeah.
okay,
You're
great.
welcome.
I'll
Thank
be here
you.
at 7, getting my place warmed up.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys. I'm sorry
Yeah.
for my interruption.
There was an interrupting child, I thought that was. Take care, lady.
Okay, so highway is supposed to get here at 4:30. You have to go at 4:30. Okay. Okay. We have, I can read Jessica's number.
No.
Let her know before.
You like it?
Um,
You know, the garage number?
I could call over to.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we could just let her know that we're ready. We can look at some other budget item lines in the meantime.
Videos where they like put things in rainbow order that are in foreign languages. I don't know that I trust it, but it's better than pterodactyls. No. Hey, Sailor, can you say you want to keep looking at that phone like a zombie while I'm please? Yeah? Deal? Deal?
Deal.
Yeah, sure.
That's binding. It's a binding contract.
Don't try to me and me.
Just have the time of the year that you can say that.
Hmm?
Scary movies.
Wow. You a scary movie person? I can't do scary.
Really? It's my jam.
Is that, what, are you familiar with this Terrifier series?
The what?
Terrifier series? It's some series that is like known for being way over the top. I think it's in theaters right now. It's like the third one. It's like an evil clown type thing.
I like realistic horror. You know, like psychos.
Well, he's definitely a psychic. It's also super.
Probably not the best.
Oh, no. Well, we can
Fixes?
look at, we can keep going with general.
We're still recording, right?
Yes.
Keep going with general fund.
How did you pick out what the furniture place?
Um,
My husband had a place for that. I texted him yesterday.
that what?
Jeremy had a place that they did discount for all college. chicks
Oh,
for their
cool.
Furniture.
Yeah, so we went to the place in Poughkeepsie that has a state contract, so it's like 51% off of all those catalog prices. So the pricing is like really good in terms of like new office furniture, but it's not like, you know, we still have to make decisions. I was most impressed, they have a huge showroom of refurbished. So there's like, in terms of chairs and like they had 6 of these very like simple desks with like a file cabinet, and they were all like $299 for like that piece of furniture, which is like a really good price. But it's like you have to go and know. They also have new desktops with refurbished drawers that were also like $300 for like a larger size. So some good chairs. So it seemed like a good place, but also a little overwhelming. And thinking about building a new town hall, I'm like, oh, this is the kind of, some of it is like, we wouldn't want to invest in some of the furniture because we like would want to wait until we have like a new space. But, so I think we just have to.
Can we pivot and talk about that for a second? Oh, yeah, we'll pivot. The, so the loan, the biggest grant that this property is eligible for is
They'll be over in.
the rural, USDA's Rural Communities Facility Direct Loan and Grant Program, which is a matching program. They'll do either a combination of grant and loan or give you just loan offer. The last time I looked at the rates, the max for this year was a 5% rate on the loans. You get locked in at very specific. That's like the highest tier, which we don't qualify for. We qualify for either the middle or the lower. Just because our population and our median income has changed so much the past couple of years that we're in 2 different categories
Yeah.
based on either one, and there's different criteria for each. But for this, we qualify for at least a 55% to 75%, like I said, depending on which one match for federal funding for community facility development, which we can include anything in this entire property on that application. They're a big application because it's a federal one, but I think that if we are really wanting to start to have plans and have everything together next year to start on the idea of new town hall and construction, that we should get in a plot that this should be like the first grant in the new year that we start to get someone researching and on what we exactly the town needs to do to get it and write it. Because I know that we did get approved for one of these, like I want to say 2008, somewhere in the early to mid 2000s. Rich Miller had applied with Carl Chipman and they had gotten approved to build a new town hall then, but the project never came to fruition and the money got sent back, I believe. Or it never came because they didn't answer the award. I don't know how it got stopped, but there was, at one point this community did get approved, I was told, for one of these grants in like 20 years ago. Or 15 to 20 years ago. But we definitely need it. Being a rural community in New York is not, it's hard to reach the level of rural we are here, defined by the USDA, and we're one of like, I think it's two, I mostly work with the food USDA side. I know we're the highest for food desert level that they categorize in USDA, and I'm not sure if we're the highest level of rural that they categorize or not. We might be the middle, but we're in the higher end of it. Which makes it makes us more marketable to funders.
Yeah, because we have a smaller tax base.
Yes, we use
Yes, we can't afford infrastructure.
Yeah, and we have a almost 13% poverty rate in our township and our population. We're under, some of it has to do with median household income of our town versus the non-metropolitan area one. It's a percentage, like if you're below 80% of the non-metropolitan area median income, whatever percentage low is one of the criteria frames. So there's a few different levels, but at the bare minimum, like I said, we should be at the 55 matching percent. And I think if we're looking at town hall and trying to redo and maybe make us a nicer art area with redoing that, in years to come, I think that should be hopefully one that we look at and go.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to help do some research because I'm going to be applying for the same program for potentially for one of them. So I should do very well first in this to assist whoever the town decides to hire to do this grant for us.
Or
Researching. So, yeah, I think that to
Yeah.
of matching funds, so it
Yeah.
could be a $2 million fund. One that matching.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a huge piggy bank that we should try to.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Yes, he is on his way.
Is there a way without the key to make this not lock?
You can use the key if you like, or you can just use the rock.
I'll use the.
There's a rock out there, like the rock.
That's like get locked out, trying to get it off.
Do you have a copy of the tentative with your changes?
Yeah, I printed out whatever you said, yeah, the highway part of it. I wasn't gonna bring the big one.
Okay, that's fine. I have a working copy.
That I need.
It'll become the preliminary version, so I'm gonna open that. I'm messing around.
Yeah, I just printed out highways.
And I did, this is not relevant to highway, that the grant opportunities that we were looking, that someone had requested. I did speak to our REDC rep. She confirmed that my understanding of those opportunities was correct. She also offered to help us develop a preliminary application and walk us through the process because she thinks it's a very popular program and she anticipates that it'll be fully funded again next year. And I think that's another opportunity. It's gonna open and you'll have a month to apply. And when that happens, you have to move quick because the requirements, but that can be used for public spaces as well. So there could be, there's like, I think in December, I want us to like compile all these priorities and all these opportunities and put them on a calendar and see, what we think is possible. Because it's exciting. There is a lot of funding available and I think we should be pursuing it for these big projects. Save our budget for day-to-day expenses and pursue this funding for these big construction. So,
The like public hearings and community input, does that have to happen within the month or?
yeah. That other one, the SCORE one, is that application period is now. So that public hearing would have to, it's like that application closes at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, what's nice is the thing to do normally, because this is what I'm doing with the USDA program, that most federal funds, they like trigger a open date and you have 30 days to get
Yeah.
all of this ginormous list of requirements together of certifications and audits and whatever. And so like I prepared half of that grant that I know opened in April based off of last year's application. So I just have to go through and update a few things in that month window instead of this year. I tried to do it right from the get and like there was like 8 hours of required training and I was like, wow. I was like, okay, this is for next year and I'll just start, this is the checklist now, so, but yeah, and again, I think that this just supports the additional role in your office.
Hey.
And the need.
Hello.
late.
No, you're not late. You're actually early.
Early.
We were running early. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we can get out of here soon because I know it's past the work day for everyone. So this is a public meeting. It will be online this meeting. So everything we were just talking about is gonna be online. So just, I've been giving this reminder is that we are talking about details about the department, expenditures, revenue lines, but let's keep it to, let's not dip into personnel matters or anything like that. Just keep it to what should be in the public realm, which is almost everything we do. And we've never really streamed these meetings in the past because they're so, we get on tangents and go off topics and get excited talking about cutting expenditures and raising revenues. But we all feel that since we're talking about taxpayer dollars, that it's really important that our process be as transparent as possible. So just want to say, we've been saying that at the top of every department meeting. So thanks for being here. Jeff couldn't join us today, but you guys have met ahead and are all 100% aligned on the budget. And I sat down with Jeff for the tentative budget that was submitted, and I know you have some changes.
Yep.
So we will just go through starting at the top of highway expenditures. And if we could do this sort of kind of quickly, we don't necessarily have to review. Like if the board doesn't have questions, just say no questions. Or if you want something to be changed, we can ask, but I think we can go through this pretty quickly. One just like big note is that I did change the way the labor hours are in the budget. So because they've been funded in other budget codes, all labor budget codes are present in this budget, but I consolidated all labor to one code, which is
Maintenance of roads.
maintenance of roads. Okay, so. Unallocated insurance, that's sort of a standard cost. I haven't gotten them. Yeah. I actually will be getting like actual costs for a lot of this stuff in the coming couple weeks, so. Okay, so administration, I zeroed that out, but that used to be. You know, Jared?
That's it.
And now you're gone.
Moved a little
Okay.
bit. Not yet.
So then administration, we've got contractual supplies and materials, is that what you are operating on?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just put in department requests for these. Any questions or changes?
Nope. I do wanna have, curious about the fire safety, because we had one come out of professional services, we had 900 come out of that for administration, and then 900 come out of machinery, so it was replacements, inspections. I was curious if we can have a separate fire safety code specific for that, instead of taking it out of a whole bunch of different departments.
Yeah, so what line are you looking at right now when you said it came out of?
So it came out of administration professional services.
Oh, right, okay,
And was 900, and then the other one was out of machinery. And that was professional services.
okay.
So it kind of gets split between the two, but I figure if we have one solid line for it, because it's an expense we pay, or yeah, an expense we pay for every year.
Okay, so we're gonna add. Add fire safety. I don't know, I'll have to see what we can do with those codes, but, line, and you wanna keep it in administration.
Yeah. And if we can do that at 2,000. Because it varies on how many we get replaced and how many they inspect.
Oh, but that's what we did here, right?
Did we add it to there?
So, yeah, I think that's what we did here. I see. You wanna add to that line or keep it at 2,000?
No, either add to the professional services or just have separate code.
But you're saying this 952.99 is the fire safety
Yeah,
charge.
yeah.
So, and then you're saying that there's supposed to be 2 that happen a year and the other one got put somewhere else, or?
So 2 450s got put into professional services machinery.
So a total of 900 is under machinery,
Yeah,
and that's where it hit this year.
yeah,
So 2,000 for the department request reflects
both
combining.
combined the
Okay.
two.
Okay, so we're keeping the preliminary budget the same as what's in the tentative.
Yeah,
I thought you were saying we needed to, but you were asking if maybe we could indicate that that is not professional services, but the fire safety.
mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll see if we can. Okay. The rental lease radios. Yeah. That is just what they cost.
Yeah, the price actually went down. Yeah.
And then this is the conference for the 3 of you.
Yes.
Okay. And no postage.
No. I think that comes out of general.
No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, what mailings do you do though?
The fuel for Cohasset and.
Oh, yeah, that does come out of general, but that's it. That's all.
Yeah, that's really all we ever mail.
Speaking of which, oh wait, we didn't do revenue yet, never mind. Go on.
Okay, And then this, 50/20 engineering professional services.
That was. Yeah, so like the mining we have done, they have the survey for mining and, yeah,
Okay.
The mining permit.
yes.
Yeah, there was a reason why. Okay, so this is where we see the labor hours. In 5110, so this is a union contract, so this reflects the year that we're at for that. But instead of having everyone split out across all the budget codes, I consolidated them so that we could see those budget lines and like what they're actually supposed to be. Over time, I did just go through and I added up like overtime total across and just put it all in the one. So, does that, we talked about this week, Jared,
Yeah.
that makes sense to you?
Sure.
Any questions about that? We don't have a labor position anymore, so that's why that one's not funded. Equipment.
That was the self-pump on Stony Hill.
Oh, you wanted to just budget for that?
Wanted to budget for it and hopefully the warranty or knock on wood, it doesn't go.
There's not an issue with it,
As of right now, but it seems like every year we've had.
Changing one almost every year at this point.
yeah, so we're just, that's never been included in the budget, so we're just including it.
On the turn.
Yeah.
But it should get replaced in warranty.
Fingers crossed we hope.
Like, there's nothing wrong, let me just be clear, there's nothing wrong with it at the moment, but this has happened. So Jessica requested that we budget for it.
There was an electrical problem that's been resolved.
As far as we're, yeah.
I just don't want the fact that the money's there. to be- Okay, well, the budget. Exactly. It can be replaced under warranty.
What is the warranty? Well, I have the warranty.
Yeah.
Somewhere. It's
Is-
saved on the computer.
Is it 3 years or something? At least, right? It's gotta be.
I have to relook. I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Hey, I'm fine budgeting with it, I just wanna make sure. If it breaks again.
Oh, we're gonna
So
look
it's
for
going on.
warranty first.
Yes.
It's been the same electrician who's installed all of them, right?
Yeah.
I would like to request that it's a different electrician if it goes this year.
There's been different problems, and that's been all. One time we opened it up and the pump was upside down in the hole. And it was just an absolute mess. We have no idea how that even happened. But it's years past, it's run pretty much nonstop. You know, the rain and stuff we've had this year probably didn't run much at all, you know.
Well, that's what I'm
so
saying, it was running for like 10 years without a problem.
I think it was longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't make them as good as they used to anymore.
But it's still, it should go longer than a year.
Got an audience now.
Now we're off to security.
Wait for the entry.
Baylor, do you want to chair the meeting? Do you want
Be
to
the
chair
chair
the
of the
meeting?
With Aaron? With Miss Aaron?
Come here.
All right, go with Miss Aaron. You can go chair the meeting with her. Make sure
Okay.
you save everything on your computer.
This is how we chair the meeting. We sit like this and we listen. Okay. All right, supplies and materials. This is, do you want to just take us through this section, Jessica?
Oh, what is this one? Supplies and materials, though, it's really anything that we buy for the roads. The tools, we really don't need this. professional services paving's gone up. And that's for the companies we use, like Peckham and Callahan and Gorman. The second is the professional services. I'm not too sure what we've used for that one.
Engineers? Do engineering, over or something?
I can look that up.
Not in a few years anyway. We usually try to just do it ourselves.
You're gonna get your computer? Good idea.
Let's see, our rental sweeper is gone down this year because we signed up another contract with a company that we had a few years ago. So they can offer us, I think it was 9,800 for a month, which was cheaper than what we were getting for 2 weeks. We actually, so I know the item 4 says 20,000, we actually need to go up to 21,000 because
Okay.
we are buying about $600 worth of item 4 a month
Okay,
for the remainder of the months.
okay.
And coal patch is the 12, that's fine.
Anything from the board?
Are there materials in other line items? Is that the only item 4 we have?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, we don't use a tremendous amount. We don't have any dirt roads anymore.
Yeah.
So if we do culvert pipes, we use that stuff, but we don't use a ton of it anymore.
Okay. So again, skipping over labor, we're in permanent improvements. This is, chips and the bridge, the Boycial Bridge. So this, there's a, a bond for
Smell.
yeah, that we're carrying over because we got an extension. So it's gonna be 2026. Okay. And you, that for the professional services road, that's like typically what chips.
Yep.
Covering the top equipment.
Yeah, we're actually not doing any reimbursing any equipment under that this year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's all road maintenance, paving.
And that's all it covers?
Yeah,
Okay,
Culvert pipe.
culvert pipe.
okay. Okay,
These are the material costs. So these are the labor costs.
Material.
well, this is like the, when the
Right.
companies come and do the paving.
So separate from,
So we're not paying, it does include materials, but it also includes the service.
It is separate from the professional services paving.
But it's the same. company.
Yeah, yeah.
what's the difference between road work versus paving?
So the 284 that we fill out every year, whatever's on that 284 comes out of the professional services road work. And whatever's not on that 284 comes out of the professional services paving.
So one's maintenance, the other's permanent improvements, and chips is the once every 5 years.
Yeah, they just changed it once every 5 years now instead of once every 10.
Yeah, so
These are the permanent.
these are the permanent improvements, but when you're having to pay in between that, that's maintenance. Does that help?
Yeah, like if you have to chip seal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only do the same section of road every 5 years now, over 10, right?
Yeah,
So we don't get reimbursed.
maintenance is, we know it's not, it's a way of differentiating those in the budget. Okay. So don't have anything until,
Equipment.
yeah, machinery, equipment. We have 120,000 in the tentative budget.
Yes, and we can actually drop that down because we got the insurance buyout for the chipper. So it will only need to be 55,000 because he wants to get the lift, truck lift.
So we had budgeted to buy a new chipper.
We didn't budget to buy a new chipper, replacing a chipper. We didn't budget at all for it, because the chipper wasn't supposed to
Mm-hmm.
get damaged.
What was originally in the 120?
So the 120 was the chipper, because we didn't know when we would get the insurance buyout. And.
Oh,
like-
right, that had happened while we were doing this.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, we didn't know. No, that had just happened while we were doing the budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
We can lower that to 55.
55,
And that's for like a lift.
yeah. No, it's, the original total was 50,916.46, but that's this year's quote. We're not too sure if it's gonna go up or down next year, so that's where we're budgeting.
Okay. And that's not CHIPS reimbursable? 'Cause
No.
That's okay. So then for machinery, supplies and materials,
We did have to go up to 38,000 because nuts, bolts, washers, anything extra that's not parts goes in that line, and all the prices going up. Pools. Pretty self-explanatory, right?
and yeah,
So you buy a tool.
We're by our tools. The 120 we didn't touch. I feel like gasoline and diesel varies.
yeah.
Professional services is the towing, any towing we get done, any inspections we get done. The rental lease, we actually have to jump to 1,300,
Okay.
just because the cost is increasing and we're going through what are the CO2 thing, everything that we use for our welding,
Yeah, oxygen, settling, stuff like that.
the price is increasing. We've been using a lot of it.
Okay.
Same with oil and lubricants, that went to 8,000 this year or next year. But that's also going up, we're going through a lot of that. Parts we stayed the same, tires. Repairs, if it's not really needing the repairs, knock on wood.
Anything from the board?
So I just have a question as a whole that I know you guys might not be able to answer, but for tools, I know we use A&M and Napa a lot. And I know that there are times when we're doing jobs and like we don't anticipate, much snapping, whatever. Is there anything that we can try to do in order beforehand, like in anticipation of jobs ever? To try to get it cheaper on like Rock Auto or another dealership that's not.
A
our
lot of
local
places
one?
we have problems with because we're tax exempt.
Mhm.
So you'd have to, the account, setting up accounts, we'd have to, with like a million different places.
Yeah.
We try to save as much, I shop around as much as possible. It's just tough, like you said,
Yeah,
most
I
of the
know,
time,
yeah,
it's just
it's
replacing
something
what we
breaks
already have.
That's fine. I just
Yeah.
wasn't sure if there was ever like, like the new truck is gonna use a different oil filter wrench or something. Something like that, where like, that like use this specific tool, so let's just buy it before something breaks on it, we have to buy it like locally, but if that's harder than worth for the few
Yeah,
dollars,
like I said,
It actually is
completely-
harder than it
I
sounds.
completely understand.
It's tough.
Excuse me.
So we're gonna keep everything in there. So then next, brush and weed.
You mean keep up with the changes?
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Unless there's anything that the board wants to adjust. So brush and weeds, I'll let you.
I feel like we left everything, I don't feel like we upped anything.
We reduced,
Oh, no, yes, we did get rid of the tree trimming professional services because we have a bucket truck of our own, which has been able to reach and do what we needed to do. So we can,
and is on track to pay for itself.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we can get rid of that line.
Yep. Okay. Anything from the board? Salt and sand.
So the salt, we're gonna. We're going to up to 35,000, so it says, as the prices increase. And we can actually go down in the sand to 15,000.
Okay. That's what we had in the tentative.
Can you guys order sand now?
Our shed is pretty much full, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
We'd like to keep it as full as possible, and then like we had money from last year, we stock it right up.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I was like, fill it up with.
We have a little bit left.
The price goes up, salt
They
and
have, like,
everything.
I think we already got our max of what we can get. They
Oh,
were-
okay.
I put an order in and they already.
Oh, yes,
filled
you
it
did. I
For
was
the
looking at
year,
the lot.
so we'll definitely have to wait till next year. We get the 500 tons.
We still have probably 400 in the shed that hasn't mixed yet. Looking good on that.
So then, then the next, I will be getting the actuals for these soon. So these are the employee benefits. Anything, you wanna look at expenditures, or I'm sorry, revenue?
Mostly just.
Chips. The driveway permit, actually wanna raise the driveway permits to $100.
The driveway permits over here?
Yes. Oh, so difficult.
That's not your problem.
Keep her awake tonight.
You don't think the sugar or the
Yeah.
apple cider?
So I do have a question. We kept, though, shouldn't we reduce? Hold on. We have consolidated highway is chips, is that right? We have it at 700,000, should it? That's what we put in. The. But we only put 450 in for road work, yeah. Could be the culverts and stuff that gets reimbursed once we use. Oh, okay. Oh, and the, okay, so you think, we should check in
The one
with Jeff
top of
about it,
the
'cause he's the one that.
Did he?
Yeah,
He didn't say anything to me about that.
okay, yeah, we just, they have to match on the expenditure side.
Okay.
So I was only aware of the 450, but if there's,
800 bridges and culverts. That was
that's
ban.
that's Bridge New York.
Right, but that's Bridge New York. So was there another culvert? That's the.
I know we've got Queens Highway,
We do have Queens Highway.
which is gonna happen in spring.
Well, I'm saying differently. Where are we saying the expenditures?
That's what I'm asking. Cause otherwise we need to reduce this, cause it's just looking like
What is this on?
highway, 3501. In revenue.
So that's 15,000, that's all we've gotten for chips so far?
No,
Or
we
got
got it,
Yeah,
it just,
It was after.
that was after.
That's what I figured, I was like, I could have sworn we got one.
No, we
Like,
got it.
I
We
saw,
got a big chunk of it, yes.
And what, it was 400?
661. 661,000.
Okay, so we're on, but that, we still have one more round or? you
Nope,
applied for
we're all
it?
done.
We're done.
So that's what I mean,
Yeah.
chips matches what you submit, so I know the 450, but I don't know what the additional.
I'm not, I can honestly, say I don't know.
Okay, so I need to find this. Okay. Okay, anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained.